Hey everybody, it's Soloist. Welcome back to the TCG channel. Today we're going to be discussing every single new leader coming out in OP07, all 6 of them. And yes, I'm going to keep reminding myself 6 because it's just like me to forget one, and it would be devastating if I forgot a leader. We've got Boa Hancock, we've got Dragon, we've got Lucci, we've got Vegapunk, we've got Foxy, and we've got, oh gosh, and we've got, I'm forgetting one. I know I have it here somewhere, but there are 6, I promise. Let's see, Boa Hancock, Vegapunk, Lucci, Foxy, Dragon, and Bonnie. There we go. See, oh my gosh. You can tell I wasn't that hyped about this set, but I'm here to discuss, and we're just going to go over everything you need to know about these new leaders so that going into the set, you can know maybe who you want to invest in, because card games are a little expensive, and you don't want to go in there, you know, not knowing for sure what you want to spend money on. In no way, disclaimer, there will be individual videos made for each of these leaders giving what I think is a good deck build for them and how to play them. This is in no way that I threw these decks together. In fact, I got deck builds offline and just kind of threw them together so I could have something to go off. And I've not really researched into these too much, so that everything you need to know is kind of also a disclaimer. We're going over these together, and this is kind of to give us all a good gist of how these leaders are going to play. So the first leader we're going to go over today is Boa Hancock. It's a blue leader with, I think every leader this set is actually a mono color, which is interesting. During your turn, once per turn, you may activate this when a character leaves play from one of your abilities. If you have 5 or less cards in hand, draw 1 card. So it's just drawing a lot of cards. So anytime a character leaves play, that's a big thing. Leaves play. That includes bottom decking, that includes KOing, that includes placing into the trash. Anytime they leave play and you have less than 5 cards, you get to draw a card. So there's a lot of cards in here that really synergize with that. Obviously, getting as many Gum Gum Red Rocks and Gravity Blades as possible is good. I had actually never seen this card until today. It's a good 2K counter, I guess. Return this card to the owner's hand. So that counts with leader ability. See that? Return this card to the owner's hand. You play it, activate main, you bring it right back, and then you literally just get to draw a card. Once you may activate this ability when a character leaves play from one of your abilities. It doesn't say on your opponent's side or your side, so that counts with that. You get the new OP07 Boa Hancock in here to freeze. So this is less about going over what the deck actually is, because again, I don't really know. I haven't really looked. On play, return up to a 2 cost or lower character to its hand. So this new Crocodile is also a 2K, and a way to get something off of play to activate that leader ability to draw more cards. So that's what you're doing with this deck, is you're trying to move things around on the board and get things off. Look at the top 5 cards. Reveal a 7 Warlords type. So this is a new 7 Warlords Searcher, which is pretty cool to have, and I think in most of these decks. And I really like this. Another way to draw cards here with Weevil and a bunch of the Doflamingo stuff that we've seen. I personally will not be investing too much into this deck. I like the blue 7 Warlords of the Sea package, but I like it in Doflamingo. I think Doflamingo's the most fun of these, and I think he'll probably end up being the best. Maybe. I think he will be better than this. This leader ability seems like it'll be hard to pull off sometimes. It is cool here when you can do this and dig in and get more of these out to do more shenanigans. But again, 2 costs or lower is very situational. Gravity Blades and Gum Gum Red Rocks will be better than most. And these cards I feel like you should probably want to run 4 of and not 2 of. I'm not sure why the deck list I pulled up had 2. But I would probably just take out, I don't know, maybe these Kayas. Pudding still has too much value in this meta with all the high deck hands. So when you're playing Boa Hancock, you're going to be running the 7 Warlords of the Sea package, and you're going to be wanting to just constantly be moving things off the field so you can draw cards and get a big hand and swing for win in late game. I guess your late game monsters here are obviously Kaido to fill that hand up as well, and Boa Hancock here, which freezes. Freezes something and places a cost 1, so it also gets rid of something on the field. So actually, there's a world where you may want to run 2 of those and 4 of these. I'm going to go ahead and do that, actually, because I don't want to screw myself over when I end up testing this eventually, because I will test off of these. I don't think these deck builds are good, I will say. So that's Boa Hancock, everything you need to know about her. Cards to look for, and especially in OP07, you're going to want to pull these, I would say 4 of these Boa Hancocks. I don't think this card is as good in Doflamingo. In fact, I don't think you would run any of these in Doflamingo, but we're not talking about Doflamingo. We're talking about Boa Hancock. So you're going to want to find these. These new Trafalgar Laws also is an exact way to just move things around on the field. In fact, I would also run 4 of those. Not sure why this deck build has 3. If your opponent has 6 or more cards in his hand, place 1 card from their hand on the bottom of the deck, and then active main, you do that, you have to move him back to your hand to do that. Draw a card with it. So, yeah. And the more cards you have in hand, there's a lot of 2Ks in this deck. So the more cards you have in hand, the more 2Ks you have for counter, and the more likely you are to find your boss bodies. I do think this isn't the strongest leader in this set. I don't think there's any leaders in this set, to be honest with you, front and foremost, that are like going to be meta shattering. I do think there's 2 in particular that are going to be pretty good, and we'll get to them when we get to them. But this seems like a fun-ish deck. I woun't play this over Doflamingo, so maybe if you want to play Boa Hancock, go for it. She's beautiful. I mean, that's going to be the reason everyone plays her. Am I right, chat? Next, we're going to go over Bonnie, just because she's next on the list. Bonnie is easily a deck I think is going to end up being a really good one. I think a lot of Uta players are going to leave for Bonnie. Not me. I'm a diehard Uta fan. I'm going to be playing the film package. I love the film package. But this is pure green, and it's just so obnoxious, and I actually will be playing this deck on Sim-a-Lot. I just don't think I'm going to invest in it super hard. I do know in that box I pulled on that video, I did get, I don't know if I got 2 Basil Hawkins. I know I got 1 at least, which is like the superstar of this deck. Let's just go over the deck. When opponent attacks, once per turn, you tap a Dawn and you rest up to 1 of your opponent's leaders. So as long as you leave 1 leader or character, sorry, with no cost restriction. So as long as you leave 1 Dawn up, you can pretty much guarantee that they can't attack full board. And this really devastates, especially if you're playing against any leader that has an when attacking feature. That's going to test your opponent's game knowledge, because if they swing with characters first, like Gecko Moria, for instance, his whole entire leader ability is based on when attacking. So Gecko Moria is always going to be attacking first, because if they attack with a body and then you activate this leader ability, then you rest leader and then they don't get to do their whole gimmick. So it's going to test game knowledge on your opponents, which, you know, to a certain point, I don't think a lot of people are going to be worrying about playing idiots like that. I would, though. I always bank on that, but that's maybe why I lose a lot. But this is pretty straightforward. You know, you leave a Dawn out. When your opponent attacks, no matter what it is, a character or a leader, you tap that Dawn, you rest to whatever you want, a leader or a character. Not a bad ability. The EVO1 Cavendish is really good in this, because if your leader is Supernova type and you have no other Cavendishes on the field, you activate 2 Dawn. That means you never have to try to leave Dawn untapped. You can just make sure you have, you can just use all your Dawn in your turn is what I'm trying to say. You don't have to be like, okay, I need to leave 1 untapped to use leader ability. Cavendish will make sure you get to do that. I would be careful about triggers and banking all of this on that, and then, well, I guess it's when attacking, so it doesn't matter. I would attack with him early, because you're like, okay, well, I'll attack with him later, and then you get, like, Nami triggered, then you're going to have to change your plan up a little bit. But as you can see, a lot of the deck build is going to be built around freezing, just like she kind of can with resting characters. Freezing with Doflamingo is always just a great option. And untapping Dawn. This is another new card from OP07. It's a blocker, end of your turn. It just set up 1 Dawn card is active. And you can play this guy out on turn 2 if you go second. So I would always look for this in your opening hand. This is a must. 4 of these are a must. 4 of Hawkins is a must. If your leader has Supernova type, this character gains blocker, so it's a blocker because you're running a Supernova, obviously. And once per turn, if this character were to be removed from play by one of your effects, one of your opponent's effects, you may instead rest one of your opponent's characters. So it's another leader ability. Which is, your opponent should ideally, unless they have a lot of aggro on them and they think they can like play an effect to get rid of it and then play another effect to guarantee get rid of it, this is just a super sticky blocker. A super sticky blocker, because that's going to shut off 2 attacks, basically, because they'll attack into this, and then you rest, instead of killing them, you rest an opponent's character or leader. But this one's characters, not leader. And then with this, you can rest leader. So that's 2 things, basically meaning, again, your opponent will never try to use effects to take down Hawkins. So he's a very sticky blocker, and he's a 7K, so he can swing. This is kind of a fun pick. If you have 3 or more characters, your cost 3 or lower characters other than Monkey D. Luffy cannot be KO'd by your opponent's effects. This is a black counter, basically. Like, so many cards in black can KO 3 costs or less. So you play this down and they cannot. This counters black so hard. And if you'd ever get to use that, it's a 6K body. I love this card. Every deck build I saw building the Bonnie did not have this card in it. And I was like, I hate playing against black enough that I'm going to make it work. But other than that, you know, you have the simple green stuff going on to support this. But basically with Bonnie, you're going to want to just activate Dawn and then focus on resting characters, getting to where they just can't swing wide, basically. This probably will fold against just giant bodies that'll swing. But again, they have to have a board to swing. They have to swing really wide. So you're doing good there. Again, you have the Kid thing with some blockers, and you throw out Kid in late game, and you throw out Kid in late game, and you have like blockers up. You pretty much win. Especially with this card out with this, you're doing good. Hody Jones, I think, is overkill. I guess if you want to go for a win, I don't know. But again, these deck builds aren't deck builds. They're just going over generally what you should do. So again, before we go though, I would recommend for sure getting a Rouge and Hawkins for this deck. And I say Luffy, but you know, whatever. I did get one of these Luffys, I think, in that box I opened. So these 3 cards you're gonna want to look for. Like, good luck having these laying around. Again, they're expensive. I still don't have a single one in print, but I played Doflamingo. Doflamingo is pretty good boss body. And Cavendish will be really good. And of course, you can rest characters here too. Again, resting and Dawn activation, but also it's a 2K. And I think that's mostly why people run a Poo. So that is Bonnie. That's 2 leaders. Let's go over Dragon next. I think I'm going to end up playing a lot of Dragon this set just because I got incredibly lucky in my first box. I got an 8-cost Dragon and an Altard 8-cost Dragon. So I thought that was pretty cool. So Dragon is probably the simplest leader in this set. Activate main once per turn. Give up to a total of 2 of your currently attached Dawn to one of your characters. So basically, you throw 2 Dawn on him, make him 7K, you swing, you do 7K, activate ability, you move those 2 Dawn to something else. It's super simple. So what you want to do is you want to have cards in here that benefit from having 2 extra Dawn on them. So a lot of the Bello Betty packages in here, like Lindbergh, that if this character has 7,000 power or more, well, it will when you move those 2 Dawn over. KO to one of your opponents with 3,000 power or less, so killing off weak blockers. You can use this to give up to one of your opponents minus 3,000 to get some cheeky plays off with this. So 2 Dawn here, move it over to Lindbergh, play this to minus something, then attack with Lindbergh, who now has 7,000, that kills something. Same thing here. I mean, this is just to execute too. You can do the same thing with this combo. KO up to one of your opponent's characters with 4,000 power or less. Again, just execution on power reduction here. There's a lot of power reduction. I put Luffy in here. Luffy wasn't in the thing because Luffy with 2 Dawn equipped can negate blockers. This is a pretty cheeky win to throw on 7, swing, then throw this out, then activate main, and you don't have to waste 2 Dawn on it. And then you have 2 more Dawn, I guess, to like, I don't know, throw onto something else. And then right here, this is a essentially give your leader or up to one of your characters 2 rested Dawn. So this is a really cool card. I think synergizes with Dragon perfectly, obviously, because you play him out. He has Rush, so he's a 9K Rush. Then you use 2 of the rested Dawn, put it on Dragon, swing with Dragon, then use those 2 rested Dawn and move them over to something else. So I like this deck because you're moving a lot of rested and equipped Dawn around. So basically in that one turn, you get 9K out, rested Dawn over to Dragon, 7K out, move that 7K over to, I don't know, Ivankov that can play a 5K Revolutionary Army when they have 7K. Or this is just a searcher. Oh, a play searcher. That's pretty good. Or Lindbergh or Karasu to minus power again. Pretty fun. A lot as of the new stuff. There's not a ton of new cards in here. This is a card I didn't even know existed before today. And searchers from OP05. I used to run Bello Betty and OP05 a lot, so I have a lot of this package. I've got this ready to go. I've got this ready to go. This ready to go. This ready to go. This ready to go. I need 2 more of these, obviously. I almost have these ready to go. I gave my sister a lot of these, but and as for the new events, I actually put these in and didn't read them, so let's read them together. Give up to one of your characters a revolutionary type plus 2,000 power this turn. After this, give up to one of your, so it minuses power and gives plus 2,000 power. So essentially, for 3 Dawn, you can throw 7 and then activate this guy's with 7,000 power or more. And then for 1 more Dawn, added onto the 3, obviously, you give something else 7,000 to activate that revolutionary type thing. So, yeah, it's just pretty cool. That's a pretty good card right there. KO to one of your opponents, 3,000 power or less. So another thing to, and also KO stages. I like that we're getting some stage aggro in this set. That's pretty cool. But again, power reduction, KO, pretty simple. Give up to 1 revolutionary army type character plus 2,000 power until the end of your turn. Thanks for the capitalization. That'd be really good if it wasn't. So again, exact same thing as this, but this also gives minus 1,000 power. But still, exact same thing. So with Dragon, you're definitely gonna want 4 of these. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I think you're gonna want 4 Monkey D Dragons. They're just so good for that just huge wide swing turn. Get the OP07, a Revolutionary Army. They'll probably go up in price after this, but they're very cheap. And actually, I don't think they're gonna go up in price because I don't think Dragon is gonna be one of the stronger leaders. I think he's gonna, in my opinion, be one of the more fun, just because of just how simple and aggro it is. Sorry, but I don't think it's gonna end up being the one people seek to play too often. So a lot of these cards should stay cheap. This should be one of the cheaper decks to play. I'm definitely gonna be running the Dragon, and maybe Dragon will be my first deck I make a video on for this set. But I'm excited to play Dragon. So basically, you're throwing out 7k swings, and then you're moving that 2k Dawn, the 2k Dawn. Imagine if you had that much Dawn. Those 2 Dawn over to other things to buff up, activate these Revolutionary Army abilities. And you could also throw in, let me look him up because I don't remember his name right now. What is he? Here, Morally. When attacking, your opponent can't activate blockers. So that's also a Luffy. So you could run, I don't know, you could run this, and that's a 3 cost 5k too. That's pretty good. And there's a lot of revolutionary things like this right here. Gains banish when they have 7,000 power or more. So you're gonna want to play around with these. Again, this is not a final deck list by any means, but you're gonna want to play around with those Revolutionary Army type cards to get those, because a lot of Revolutionary Army type cards have buffs when they have 7,000 power or more without having 7,000 power, because that's what Bella Betty's whole gimmick was to buff every 3 things up by 3k. Next we have Foxy. Definitely like this music fits because it's like, one of these is not like the others. Like, why do they Foxy? I love this shit. Like, I love when characters like Foxy get leaders. Like, it's just so goofy and unnecessary. I just think it's great. Now, that being said, he's definitely kind of a forgotten leader right now. I don't think he's bad though. Let's talk about it. When attacking, Dawn -3. If you have 3 or more Foxy Pirates characters in play, choose up to one each of your opponent's rested leaders and characters. That doesn't feel like it's proper English. I don't like that. Okay, if you have 3 or more Foxy Pirates characters in play, choose up to one each of your, so choose up to one of each, I guess, of your opponent's rested leaders and characters. The cards you chose do not become active during their opponent's next refresh phase. So this is different than Doflamingo, for instance. Doflamingo, a total of 3 of your opponent's rested characters or leaders do not become active during, never mind, the wording is the exact same. So this is a Doflamingo. This is a Doflamingo every single turn that you can use it, Dawn -3. Let me read it again to make sure, because I'm obviously getting confused. This music, I think, is making me stupid. Choose up to 3 of your opponent's rested leaders and characters. Leaders being a part of that is huge. The cards you chose do not become active, so they stay rested. Yeah, they stay frozen, basically. Which means, like, I'm Invincible from Uta will still activate, and I think Kid's leader ability will still work. But that's a pretty strong leader ability, so we need stuff that will work on that. But it's also Dawn -3, which is a huge thing. So basically, and another stipulation is that you have to have 3 or more Foxy Pirates out on your field. So you're having to run a ton of Foxy Pirates. So the Foxy Pirates, obviously you have to have ramping options, like right here, Blocker Kid. You need to have ramp because Dawn -3 is huge. You need to be able to ramp that back up. A ramp right here as well, or not ramp actually, but it KOs things, and it's a 2K counter. So let's read through some of these cards. If your leader has Foxy type pirates and you do not have any other characters in play named this dude, add up to 1 rested Dawn. So you ramp right there. Dawn -1 if your leader is Foxy pirates, which is they're the only one. Up to 1 of your opponent's 6 coster cannot attack till you're, so it freezes something. That's pretty cool. You get this Sanji 2K blocker. While you have 2 or more, while you have 2 or more fewer Dawn cards than your opponent in your hand, this costs 3 less. So that will kick in after this, and that's a 3 cost 6K blocker. That's huge. That's a pretty great card. That's going to be really good in Raise You too, by the way, and probably red purple law. So get ready for that. We have Gina here. On play, if your leader has Foxy Pirates type and the number of Dawn cards is equal to or less, which it will be because you're minusing Dawn a lot, add it to 1 Dawn card, and so it's a 2K. This is your 2K, but again, if you need to ramp, you can ramp. You have a new blocker chopper here that's actually not on the Straw Hat Pirates. This is from the brief time he was on the Foxy Pirates. I think that is so awesome. On play, if your board has Dawn less than, or again, the wording is just changing all over the place on this. If your board has Dawn less than or equal to your opponent, add up to 1. So a lot of Dawn ramping too, which is huge to just get back up and flood the board with these cheap, might I add, Foxy Pirate characters. If you have equal to your character other than Pickles cannot be KO'd by effects. Well, that's pretty cool. If you have less or equal Dawn than your opponent, your Foxy type characters, so every Foxy type character other than Pickles cannot be KO'd by effects. That's awesome. That's a really good card for costing 3. Wow, that pretty much ensures that once you get I was about to say he's gonna get destroyed by black because of the KOing. He'll still be bottom deck, so Gravity Blade is still gonna completely like screw this guy over. But Gravity Blade is bottom deck, right? Now that I'm saying that out loud, I need to make sure I know. It is bottom deck. Yep. So Gravity Blade will still screw it over, but KOing, I mean, we're still pretty safe from that. This Foxy is fun. Opponent's turn. If your leader has Foxy type, all of your opponent's characters have minus 1,000 power. That's just help. That's just defensive. That's really good. And activate main once per turn. Add up to 1 Rested Dawn card. So every turn you get to ramp a Rested Dawn. This is your boss card here too. This is like the strongest card we have here. So you're not going to be throwing out giant swings. You're going to be throwing out a lot of little swings. On play, Dawn -1. Look at the top 5 cards, and you may play 1 Foxy type card to hand. So it's a searcher, Dawn -1 searcher, 3 cost. Place the remainder on the bottom of your deck in any order. Then you may play up to 1 4K power or lower purple card from hand. So this is a purple deck that plays a lot like a green deck, of flooding the board out a lot. Give up to 1 of your opponent's leaders minus 2,000 for the turn. That's pretty good for a counter. Yeah, that's just good general counter. And if you have equal to or less on your opponent, activate 1 of your Foxy. That's awesome. We have an I'm Invincible. Foxy's getting an I'm Invincible. Huh. That's awesome. I'm a big fan of that. But I think Foxy is the most fun leader of the set. I said it. I think he's going to be the most fun. I'm always going to say that about the joke, stupid character that gets a leader. But Foxy seems fun. He seems really... You're going to have to think a lot. You're going to have to keep 3 Foxy Pirates out at all time. And your opponent is going to be focused on negating that. Because as soon as you do that, you get into a comfortable place. Maybe you get a Kid out and you maybe get Sanji out. Then you're just freezing every turn. They can't swing and you counter out of the swings. You block. You're freezing every turn. Obviously not every turn because it's Dawn -3, but you know, you play down more of these Foxy Pirates, you ramp, you freeze. It's gonna be very annoying. So again, with this deck, you're gonna be wanting Porsche is the best card here, and these Foxys are good, but these Porsche to be able to search and then play what you searched right away is amazing. It's huge, and it's 4K or less, and I'm pretty sure all of these Foxy Pirates have 4K or less except for Foxy himself. So that is just such a good card. You're going to need these. Any Foxy Pirates are going to be good to have. I think Bon Clay from EVO1, sorry, is just a must for this. It's just a really good ramp card. And this, to ramp every single time your opponent, every single time a Dawn leaves the field is really huge too. So with this, you're going to be freezing things by Dawn -3, and all of your Foxy Pirates are going to be helping you ramp Dawn, and you're going to be ramping Dawn. So it's a very classic purple playset with a green thing in it, with flooding board and freezing, which I think is fun. I think it's gonna be good. So that's 3 leaders. That's 3, right? We did Boa, we did Bonnie, that's 4. We did Dragon, now we did Foxy. Now let's move on to Lucci. All right, I think this will end up being the best deck in the set, just because it's black and it's gonna have a lot of the Navy package in it. There's really not much I can say about this, honestly. When attacking, you may trash the top 2 cards of your deck. Black loves to do that, don't they? Give up to one of your opponent's characters -1 cost this turn. You're gonna be minusing cost. You're gonna be using BS black things in your kit to get rid of those things you minus the cost on. One card I think is really cool is Stussy. First of all, underrated, probably one of the most beautiful women in One Piece. I just love Stussy. She's beautiful. You may place one of your characters into the trash, and then you just get to KO anything. So placing things into the trash is not that big of a deal, especially if you want to Gecko Moria the next turn to bring it right back out. But yeah, I mean, just KO. And then it's a 9k swing. This is such a good card. But again, you know, you're minusing costs. You're using things like Lucci to kill him. You're using things like Gecko Moria to bring out things again like... there's no low-cost Brooks in here, like Suru to do the same thing. Yeah, look at top 3, and then you use this to find things. You may return 3 cards, play up to 1 cost 4 or lower. So this is a weird card in my opinion, but people use it. Kaku here, you may return 2 cards of CP and you trash to the bottom of your deck. You have to one of your opponent's characters cost 3 or less. Kaku, use this to bring out like, it's 4 or less, right? I don't play black a lot if you can't tell. Ice Age, again, this is one of the new cards you're gonna want, not this. Tempest Kick, draw 1 card. After this, you may trash. If your trash has 10 or more cards, which it will, give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost this turn for 1 Dawn, and you get to draw a card. This card sucks, man. It's so good. And the stage is really good. You may rest the stage if your leader has CP in its name. Give up to one of your opponent's characters -2 cost this turn. This deck is so good, man. So basically, when attacking, you mill cards, what you want to do, and then here, when you attack, you basically just get to give anything -3 so easily, and then that's free reign for like bringing in Suru to give the -2. The where was it? Right here again. Helmeppo -3. When I talk about black, it hurts my head, as you can tell. You make number go down. People die when number go down. When attack, number go down. You play thing out that either make number go down more or make thing die when thing number go down. Or you play thing out that make thing come back from dead to make either thing die with low number or number go down. That's black for you, people. It's been the same thing always. It's hard to deal with, and it's just what it is. I don't hate this deck setup either. It's actually pretty neat. We have 1 leader left, and I think I've saved the best for last. I hope I saved the best for last. I hope I don't forget any. This is number 6, Vegapunk. And when I say I saved the best for last, I think this is easily probably the worst leader in this set. Let's read it. Vegapunk. This leader cannot attack automatically. Makes it, I don't think leaders I think when leaders can't attack, they're automatically nerfed in a way that just cannot be helped. But we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Activate main once per turn. You tap 1 Dawn. You place up to 1 cost 5 or less character with Egghead type from your hand face up on the top of your life or into play. So the cool thing is, he has 2 life, by the way, which is insane. So the cool thing is for 1 Dawn, you can play any card in this deck, pretty much, except for like 10k ace, 10 drop ace. I mean, whatever. And these Rygos, I think, are cheeky because you might be at 1 life a lot. I mean, whatever. I think this is actually kind of stupid more I look at it, but whatever. This deck is the worst one. I found this one online, and I think it's from like, I don't even know, but I threw it together and I was putting it together. This sucks. But yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of 5 costs. So what you do here is you use this leader ability to flood the board with 5 costs really early. So your first turn, you have a 6k 5 cost out. And then you can use pretty much heal every single turn. And the cool thing is when you're healing, all of these have triggers that work. Like we go right here. If your leader's Vegapunk, play this card. So you heal. You can play this or you can heal with it and then get attacked and then play it from life. Basically the same thing. Up to one of your egghead type leaders or characters has plus 2,000 power until the end of your next turn. This is actually also a 2K. I think it's good for a 2K, but it also is good to put on top of your life if you want to trigger that ability. Another 2K, if you're leading Vegapunk, play this card. If you have 2 or less life cards, draw 2 cards and trash 2 cards from your hand. It basically mills out bricks and puts cards, you know, digging for cards. You go for wins with Ace. You also get to heal if you're low enough. By the way, I didn't say that. It's a basic blocker. Play this card and it's 6K. Not bad. If your leader's Vegapunk type, draw 2 cards. Just a very good trigger to have to draw cards. You're going to want those. This is actually something I'm going to be running in Enel too. This works better in Enel than Vegapunk, I think. Draw 1 card, then if you have 1 or less life, play this card. Because when you're dancing around 1 life with Enel so much, this is just such a good card. By the way, Enel OP07 video coming tomorrow. Get up to one of your opponents, cost 4 or less characters, and then you activate main, trash the card. And then right here to do the same thing right here, this is a searcher. Reveal up to 1 egghead type character other than Lilith and put it into your hand, then put the rest. This is just a searcher. This is like Nami, but it can't do it every turn. I pulled one of these actually in my box, only one, so this is gonna be, it's an SR obviously, so you're gonna have to be going for it. And then this Zoro here is just a 6K body. If you're rest up to one of your opponent's leaders or characters. This is a Beiji. I don't think Beiji would be a bad idea to have in this deck now that I look at it. Again, I didn't make this deck. All I'm doing is I just threw this deck together to give you the gist of how to play Vegapunk. You're going to want to have mostly Vegapunk characters in your cards. Mostly Vegapunk characters in your deck. So you can activate this. The cool thing, I think he's going to be fun. He might be the most fun. I said Foxy was. He might be the most fun leader in this deck. But why I say Foxy will be the most fun leader is that Foxy has a better chance of actually being viable. This gets some interesting fun support in OP08, which we'll go over when OP08 gets closer to coming out. We're in OP07 land now. He's just not great. He's so, you swing just aggro at him and he'll just fold. He'll just fold completely. So I say you flood to get at least like 3-5 costs on the board, and then you start putting into life and trying to heal. But when you get those into the board, you have to start going aggro and clearing their board so they don't go aggro on you, because you got to keep in mind, he cannot attack. I almost think if you let him attack and made his life 1 instead of 2, it would have made him better. But the fact that he can't attack puts you in a situation where if you're just getting bottom decked and KO'd constantly, you're screwed. So you have to build up a big board. You have to swing wide. You have to keep their board cleared. That's the only way you can squeeze out a win. Another card I now am looking at this that needs to be in here, I just thought of, is Ace. Because getting that rush will be really good to get some cards out of their field. Again, you cannot do Ace with this because place up to 1 costs 5 or less card with the egghead type. That does not have the egghead type, so you can't do that. But Ace is still a very good card to get in there and get some stuff down. This Raigo sucks. Again, I put this together. I think this is stupid. Correct me if you think I'm wrong, but it's like, I don't know. KO's anything, I guess. But the events. If you have 2 or less life, give up to 1 of your leaders, the characters, plus, so it's like, kind of like a gravity beam, radical beam. Well, I've been talking too much. If you have, and then right here at the stage, if you have 3 or less life, set up to one of your characters costs 5 or less with egghead type is active. So you can swing with a blocker and then set them as active, basically with this. If you're at 3 or less life, which I think you'll be dancing around 3 life the entire game with Vegapunk. I don't think you'll ever be above that. Because again, you start with 2, and sure, you can technically heal every turn, but your opponent's not going to let you heal too much. This deck is not going to be good, but daggone doesn't it look fun. It's going to be one of the first. This might be the second leader I make a video on. Dragon will be first, and this might be second. But that is every single leader. Let's go over them again. We have, again, I'm very nervous. Boa Hancock, Bonnie. We have Dragon. We have Foxy. We have Lucci, and we have Vegapunk. I didn't forget any. You don't understand how stressed that made me. But again, what do you all think? Who are you excited to play in this set? That is the basic rundown of how they're all going to play, and a little bit of their new kit in OP07 that will support around them. Again, this wasn't made to be an in-depth guide for these leaders. This was made to be an overview and kind of just a description, an explanation of how they work. so that you can go and make your own deck with them. If you want help with deck lists, there will be individual videos on this channel for each of these leaders after OP07's official release in the States, which the first day that happens, the Dragon video will drop, and then I think every day we'll just do a new leader, and it'll be fun. Any questions? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm stupid? Comment down below. One Piece content every day. Day 2, I think. I don't know. I'm actually trying to do better about it. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Subscribe. Seriously. Subscribe, like, and comment. I don't care if you didn't like the video. Like it. I want you to like the video because it'll help me. It'll help me so much. Please. Anyway, I'll quit being annoying. I'm going to be playing Dragon, I think, more than anything. But we'll see how that goes. Thank y'all for watching. Peace out.